Welcome to All the Right Marketing, where we talk with business owners and industry leaders about marketing their programs and products. Our guests share tips that can help anyone who loves books, whether you are a librarian, a bookseller, an author, or a publisher. The truth of the matter here is that the advice coming out of these conversations I'm having are for any creative in the industry looking to market products or services. So today I have a guest here who I've actually witnessed her magic happening. Her name is Oanhs Journey. She's a speaker and multi-passionate entrepreneur with a mission to empower others to tap into their why so they can build authentic and sustainable businesses. Her process and frameworks meet individuals where they are and offers a reflective process to uncover their purpose to make an impact on the world. Oanhs lives in Portland, Oregon, with her husband, 2 kids, and little Frenchie named Louie. Welcome, Oanhs.
Hi, Maria. It's so nice to be here with you. Thanks so much for this opportunity.
Absolutely. And, anyone who has a mission that, is trying to help other people to make an impact in this world, I want them here. I want them in my space. I want them in my community. And I've actually witnessed your ability. You have this innate, unique ability to meet someone and figure out what their passion and what their why is. And I can recall specifically, it was our author Anita Amin, and we had a call with you, and you asked her a few questions, and it just started pouring out of her. And then Anita went on to launch her book, Raja's Pet Camel, and she had this elevator pitch of exactly why she wrote the book. And that came from your conversation with her. And I'm sure you've done it with other people, right? Like, tell us a little bit of
Yeah.
where did you start this? I know your journey did not start here. Let's go back a little bit. Let's hear where your journey began.
Okay, yes. If you just come into my realm, you probably are thinking, oh, you must be someone who started in marketing or, worked in corporate America that had a focus on developing relationships. Well, funny thing is, I'm actually an engineer. My undergrad is in engineering, mechanical engineering. And I spent about 6 to 8 years doing that kind of work. And I just always felt like there was something missing and definitely not a passion of mine. It was more of I was good at math and science. The usual story you hear from so many people. You don't really know what you're going to be at 18. And so your parents have that influence on you and say, go be an engineer. It's such a great solid job. And funny thing is, Maria, I'm also from Michigan. I grew up in Novi, and so you're surrounded by the big three auto companies. And what do? You go and you become an engineer and you work for one of the big three, which I did. I worked for GM. And like I said, I was completely unfulfilled in that job and thinking that I'm going to go and get my master's degree. So I went, got my MBA in business, and then came out working for a small engineering firm, but I still was unfulfilled in that job. I also had a couple of kids along the way, and I knew that being home for them was really what I needed to do in my life. And so I said goodbye to corporate America, stayed home, been home now for 13 years. But during that time, you make these great connections with other women, and you find commonalities with them, right? And so the people that I had connected with over the last 13 years, the majority of them were moms like me who were looking for something to fulfill their lives beyond family and children, and many of them went into children's publishing. They became authors and illustrators. That's where their passion was. But for me, having like this technical and business background, I always tried to tap into my creativity. So many years I thought I'm not creative at all. There's no way. I'm an analytical person. But the reality is, when you start your own business, you are a creative person. I mean, you are building something from nothing, and it has your imprint on it, right? And so, um, a lot of my friends took me to these story times, and I sat in the audience and I listened to these authors or illustrators. And sometimes there were these fanatics, these fans of theirs that were just totally enthralled by their words, knew everything about them. And a light bulb went off for me. And I was like, what would it feel like for every single author or illustrator out there to have fans like this person has? I knew exactly what was needed based on that. What would it feel like for them? It would feel amazing, right? And so I decided I'll take what I knew from corporate, all my relationship marketing, all of brand marketing, and then apply it to children's publishing. And so that's sort of how I got a start with making or building my own community within children's publishing. And now it's around your purpose and that fulfillment, right? And so I know so many people out there, they want to be able to reach as many readers as possible. And so that's how I got started doing what I'm doing.
That's wonderful. And I love that you were able to take, I had this conversation with someone else. I love that you were able to take everything that you've learned along the way. So if your parents were to say, but Juan, you're not in engineering anymore, but that journey through, all of your schooling, through your work, through your time, through your MBA, you are using that because along the way, we take little bits and pieces from every experience, every school, activity, lesson, and then you can apply it to something different. It doesn't always have to look what you thought it was going to look like. So I love that you were able to take that journey and apply it to something which you feel is bigger and is reaching, more and more people. So what exactly is it that you do? So I started this conversation saying that you have this unique ability to tap into people's purpose, but what is it that you do and how do you really do it?
Yeah, so I actually help people reconnect
Hold on.
with who they
We're going
are.
to edit this.
Okay.
I don't want you to
All
tell
right.
me how. It's why.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Why?
Okay.
Why is it? Say
What
it
is
again.
it that you do and why? Okay. So I'm going to start over.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So Juan, let's talk about what is it that you actually do and why do you do it? Why is this so important?
I help people discover their why. And why is it so important? I think you touched on it previously, saying that, my experiences, I've been able to take them along my journey and have it apply into everything that I do. And that is what I want people to realize, is that by discovering your why, you create this unique story about yourself that is so powerful. You don't understand how powerful it is, not only in your marketing, but it's so powerful when you consider it as your personal compass for anything that you do in your life. Be it build a business from scratch, be it working on projects that come into your view. It's like it truly is a compass. And that is why it is such a critical piece for anyone out there, no matter where you are in your life. I mean, I've talked to people who are in their 20s and they're already starting to feel unfulfilled with whatever path they have chosen. And so, my message is, if you can just pause for a second and ask yourself, why did you even want to do this in the first place? That is going to help you move forward. That's why it's so important.
The compass analogy really hit home for me because, like I'd mentioned before, we were on this training call with the Cardinal Rule Press authors, and I saw, Anita had been working so hard towards the release of her book Raja's Pet Camel, but I think she skipped the step of answering why and what part of my story, and once you were able to help her discover that, it truly did become a compass for her. It helped lead her in everything she was doing. She was able to bring that story to life, that purpose. Can we go back to the let's say we're at the story time and you have this illustrator or author and they have all these fans there. Why do you think they have all those fans there? Can you connect it to what you are telling me about the personal compass?
Yeah, because as they're reading their books, which many authors and illustrators do, or if they're an illustrator, they're doing a illustration exercise with the audience, they're weaving their mission into that presentation. So it no longer is about, really a story time. It's them storytelling, weaving in their personal journey of, why is it so important for me to bring this book to the world? Oh yeah, that's right, I have a mission, I have a purpose, I have a statement to say, I want to be known for this. And so again, discovering your why, like you mentioned and I'm talking about, it's your life experiences that becomes your thumbprint in the world. And so you can have a very similar message to another author or illustrator, say it's about empathy, but the stories and the personal experiences you have around empathy makes you unique. And so when you bring that to a story time and you're able to communicate that well to your audience, you develop these lifelong fans.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you listening in the book industry, and we will have many different industries listening, but if you're specific to the book industry, I will say that these types of exercises have also helped the messaging for authors on their websites, so that the minute you go to someone's website, you're super clear on what they have to offer and why they are doing the work they are doing. And I think that can really transfer into many different industries, in messaging and branding, etc. So
Yes.
Juan, I love this kind of conversation because it's a journey, and it doesn't just take the work that you're doing, but it takes what you're passionate about. And when I speak to children, when I go into schools, or now I'm virtually going into schools, tell them, when they ask questions like, well, what subject didn't you like? And I said, well, I didn't like math, but I did the math because your teacher is going to teach you all of the things so that when you're a grown up, you can decide, okay, what am I good at? And what do I love to do? And hopefully you can combine those into the work that you do for the rest of your life so that you can go to work and enjoy and feel good about what you're doing. And what else
Yes.
is the purpose of life than to sit in an office and hate what you're doing? That is not what we're here for. So let's talk about how people can connect with you. If people are unsure where to start or they want to start gaining clarity, I think you have an ebook, correct?
Yes, because my process is self-reflection, right? And that's been something that I honestly I pushed off for so many years. You've heard about journaling. I'm sure journaling, everyone has heard it at least once in their life. And I remember when I first was introduced to journaling, I kind of sloughed it off. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't need that. I can keep it all in my head. But what happens is you keep it all in your head and it's just not clear. You need that clarity. You need to make a list. Maybe that's the type of person you are. And you kind of read the list once you make it and then ask yourself, how does it make you feel? Because at the end of the day, like you said, it's about doing something that you truly love and that you're willing to wake up day after day or excited to do the work. And so um, my process is, having these reflective journaling prompts, which is in an ebook. It's on my website. I think hopefully you guys can put the link
We
in the
sure
show
will.
notes.
Yep, we sure will.
Okay. And then, it's a series of, I like to say, 42 journaling prompts. Hopefully it's a habit that you can pick up as a daily practice. I know it has helped me tremendously over the last year since we've been in COVID, and so yeah, that's a great place to start. And other than that, I'm more than happy to be your partner to guide you in that discovery process if you feel that you would rather have that personal one-on-one time.
Excellent. We will absolutely put details on how people can reach out to you for that type of work as well. And then what about social media? Where can people connect with you there?
Yes. So I'm mostly on Instagram. Instagram has always been my platform of choice. You can find me with the handle at Tiny Triumph Co. And you'll find there lots of advice and hints around children's publishing marketing. I also do a series called Tea Talks with Kidlet. I've had over 30 authors and illustrators over the last year because of COVID on IG Live. Again, Instagram has been my platform of choice. And so that's where you can connect with me.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for having us today. This has been so wonderful. And I think a lot of people can take away those little tidbits, those little golden nuggets to apply it to the work that they do. You know where to find Juan, and we look forward to sharing another interview with you each Tuesday. Until then, think outside the box and don't be afraid to reach your audience in new and creative ways. Thank you so much.